Where should we be at this point? The goal would be to be totally prepared, to be fully prepared.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, where are we?
I'd probably put us below 5.
The readiness of all the different locations across the island have to be ready 24 hours a day until, to use a party term, until you say when.
We have to develop or strengthen our infections control policies. So it basically means how it is that we interact with patients, how we treat patients, how we dispose of their waste. All of those systems need to ensure that they are strengthened and airtight. All right? The other part about it is that we also need to ensure that we have physical structure, infrastructure, to deal with isolation of affected cases or presumed cases. We also need to ensure that the healthcare team that is going to be caring for these individuals are appropriately trained and appropriately outfitted to deal with the case. We also need to ensure that when it comes to disposal not only means of disposal of waste, but also in terms of the body, if there's a death.
Ebola will be somewhat new to our shores if and when it does come. Obviously, there's some specific questions and reminders. We've already started to sensitize persons. But as Marvin said, that's one aspect of what needs to be done. You also have to make sure that we have the financial resources available to the ministry to act accordingly.
We as MAJ represent not only doctors in the public health system, which is why it's also a concern to us. We also represent doctors who practice that you will go to as your GPs. And so part of our mission and part of our mandate, part of the things that we have been trying to do is just like you as the public is trying to get information, is to work with the ministry to get our individual members prepared, because we don't know who that first case is going to present to first. It may be to your local general practitioner. You might be ill at the same time when that person is ill and is visiting, both of you are visiting your local practitioner at the same time. And so as part of having the health system, because the health system not only involves what happens in the public, but also what happens in the private, we are trying to work to ensure that we provide an avenue and a bridge, so to speak, towards all of these preparations which are occurring in the public system, but also that they are complementary activities that are occurring in the private sector.
It's a state of preparedness, but we don't know until when. So as long as there's a case in the US, if another case, for example, were to be mentioned, let us say in Florida, for some reason, again, we would then become more uncomfortable. But that may be 6 days from now, 6 weeks, 6 months, it might be a year from now.
At this point, I still think we have quite a bit of time. And the reasons for that has to do with the fact that the cases, as far as the evidence says, is isolated to West Africa at this point in time. So, you know, on I would say, on a personal front, I would like us to say that I'd have been better. It would have been better for me if I would have been able to say that we're 100% prepared. The thing about it is that we're not building from scratch. We're building from our experience that we have had being prepared for, as I said, SARS, avian flu, and that sort of a thing.